Hello and welcome to another episode of Citadel Guard Adventures. This is Beriathan of the Citadel Guard, and today we'll continue investigating the murder attempts, well, not exactly murder attempts, but the murders in Cliving, and we'll also continue helping the other people around. So you might remember that when we arrived, we met the Reeve's cook, Kettlegat, who found a vial of poison, and we were sent to investigate this to look for Malbeor, the poison expert in town. He was murdered, so now that we have reported this to Walnoth, we'll need to see what comes next on this investigation. So we need to do some questioning.
The Rohirrim will need your aid.
I would like you to acquire more information from the cook who found the file. The kitchen pantries should have been restricted from most townfolk, and anyone suspicious entering would have been noticed. Ask if anyone who has been within the kitchen of late should be investigated further.
The Rohirrim have need of your services.
I am familiar with the type of dagger discovered at Malbeor's home. It is a common tool among the Eored of riders here in Cliving. I suggest you head to the training area near the meat hall and question Captain Theodmar about which of his men might be without their daggers.
Our success depends upon our strength.
Malbert's neighbor, Ondazal, spends a great deal of time watching people come and go along the roads. Perhaps she may have seen the people who had entered into Malbert's home before he was attacked. Visit her outside her home and inquire as to who or what she may have seen. Where to first? I think we can go back to this market square. There's someone in here. Ah, the quartermaster. I was looking for you.
Our mission is dire.
Candlestick moldings. Are you mad? Are you not aware of the orcs assaulting men along the road? I have had no shipments arrive from Edoras for quite some time, nor would I expect any but the most urgent of deliveries. Unless you manage to convince every orc from here to Edoras to leave us be, I would not expect your moldings to arrive hastily. The quartermaster does not believe the moldings will arrive soon, yeah. So that leaves our friend Tromsel in a predicament. What do you propose then?
The Dunlendings rally to the banner of the White Hand.
No moldings? This is terrible news, but I expected as much. If I return the payment, I will be unable to provide for my family, and if I am thrown into the dungeon, I am in worse condition still. I beg you to reason with Orwak here. I know that he will understand if you reason with him. I will grant him a discount upon his next purchase and craft an extra candlestick for him when I have the moldings. If he would speak with me, I am sure we can negotiate things further. Okay, yeah, it seems at this point there's nothing else we can do about that.
Our mission is dire.
You must be new to town. Welcome. You want to know who has been seeing Malberg? Well, he offers treatment and advice to so many, from small children and pets to the Reeve himself. I myself have not seen him since early afternoon yesterday. Prior to that, a few people visited him. A young girl who works in the kitchens, one of Theodmar's riders, and that old fool Wigfugol. Wigfugol in particular has seemed very troubled and has been visiting almost daily. That seems to be all that I can recall. I hope it was of some help to you. Okay, we can return to Walnoth and relay to him this information, but I think it's better if we question everyone first. So that's what we're gonna do. So first, we're gonna talk to Orwak here about the candlesticks. What do you think?
Our mission is dire.
No candlesticks and no repayment? Unacceptable. I am calling for a guard. A discount. If this is not a trick, then it changes matter entirely. I suppose I could agree to wait a while longer if Tromsel plans on accommodating my future purchases. I shall visit him later to negotiate. Thank you and receive this for your trouble. Well, I'm glad you were not unreasonable, and I hope you two both can reach an agreement.
What business have you with the Rohirrim?
The kitchen is restricted from most commoners. On occasion, Athelward's advisors or the riders are invited in to have a meal prepared or to borrow some ingredients. No one has entered that would arouse suspicion, but then again, I cannot imagine anyone who would want to harm the Reeve. The only people normally in the kitchen are Eldora and myself. Eldora is a young girl who helps me with cleaning in the kitchen, yet she has been acting strangely of late, sometimes leaving the kitchen without notice. I am not quite sure what to make of her behavior. Well, we have another suspect. So first we had Wigfugol, now we have Eldora, and if we talk to the captain, what he will say to us.
Will you aid the Horse Lords?
One of the men in my command, Swithorn, reported that his dagger had gone missing, not but a few hours ago. I have been rather lenient with Swithorn about the matter, for his mind is clouded with grief. His elder brother was slain by orcs just outside of Elthangels when Athelward gave orders that we abandon the defenses there in order to protect Cliving. Swithorn is a good man. I hope he does not harbor ill feelings towards the Reeve or his fellow riders. Okay, here we have all our suspects. We'll go back there in just a moment, but first we also need to talk to the Reeve inside the meat hall. Athelward, Reeve of the Norcrofts, and his daughters Afa and Mildrith. You have an amazing meat hall. Had I told you that before? Yeah, love it.
Welcome to Cliving, friends from afar.
I am Athelward, Reeve of the Norcrofts and Thane of Cliving. My house and hospitality is yours while you stay. Athelward listens as you relate the reason for your visit, and a cloud crosses his face. Oh, Mildrith. What happened to her should not have happened to any lady of Rohan. Losing first her husband and then her son. I should have been more understanding of the boy's youthful boldness, but he called my honor into question. The sword trial is the customary means of resolving such disputes. I did not know his wound would fester in such a way. I would have it back if I could. Taking young Siflád as my ward seemed the kindest thing to do, but I can understand a mother's grief may make it seem otherwise. I will answer any questions of yours, and you are of course free to see Siflád. If it is too not much trouble, could I ask you to help Cuthred, the captain of my guard, with his duties after you have spoken with Siflád? What goes on this area?
Help.
The Norcrofts are the grazing lands of Rohan, flat and treeless, and they have been subject to burning by frequent orc raids. They are my responsibility. The Thanes of their other settlements are inexperienced, and need my guidance if they are to successfully protect their people. Thane Mildrith distrusts you.
You have done well.
I am sad to hear it, but I cannot blame her. The impetuousness of youth. I wish her son had not besmirched my honor, but I could not allow such a challenge to go unanswered. A sword trial was the only true means to settle the matter, and the boy lost. I am sorry for that, but I could do naught else. I hope his mother comes to understand that my hands were tied, though I know the grief of a parent is a sharp and lasting thing. Why take Siflád to ward?
Thank you for your help.
Mildrith is too overcome by grief to do right for her daughter, let alone her town. I can better provide for Siflád now than her mother can. It was simply the right thing to do. It is my hope that in the future Mildrith and I can come to an agreement that will allow for the care of Siflád in more satisfactory fashion. Well, that's what Reeve Athelward has to say on the matter for the time being. So we'll go talk to Siflád and see well, what she has to say. But we also need to go back to Walnoth and tell him all these other evidences that we have found. And we also need to talk to Frithelm and tell him that we have resolved all the novel's issues in Cliving.
Mission is dire.
My work seems much quieter now that some of these trivial disputes have been settled. It is such a shame that no noble blood was shed. Or not. I merely jest. Perhaps now the nobles might consider the desperate situation that we find ourselves in and look at their neighbors as allies rather than enemies. The guard has more important matters to attend to than solving petty squabbles. You have my thanks, Beriathan.
What brings you to these lands?
As I thought, most citizens of Cliving would have a difficult time sneaking into the kitchen unnoticed. This kitchen servant, Eldora, seems rather suspicious. I will keep her in mind as a potential suspect, or at the very least, she may have witnessed something that could be helpful to us. Good work!
What business have you with the Rohirrim?
Evidence indicates that the dagger belonged to Sweetthorn. I am not well acquainted with the man, but I do not like what we have learned thus far. Do you suspect that he harbors a grudge against the Reeve for the fate of his brother? Perhaps we need to learn more before rushing to judgment.
Our mission is dire.
Andasdal discussed several people who saw Malbert before he passed, but this Witfugol in particular struck her as most unusual. I wonder what old Witfugol discussed with Malbert before he met his end?
The Rohirrim will need your aid.
I believe we are getting ever closer to solving this mystery, Beriathan. There are three primary suspects that we must consider: the soldier Sweetthorn, the cook's assistant Eldora, and the old man Wigfugol. Each was seen visiting Malbert and may have killed him to cover their attempted poisoning against Reeve Athelward. You have been paramount to our progress in this investigation thus far. Interrogating these individuals will prove to be crucial to discovering the truth, so I must leave this task to you. Sweetthorn should be among the Rohirrim near the Meathold. Wigfugol resides on an estate to the northwest, and Eldora's home can be found near the west entrance to Cliving. Question each of them carefully and return to me with their responses.
The Rohirrim will need your aid.
Hello, traveler. May I ask a favor of you? I am worried about a young man named Randgar who lives in a farm outside of Cliving. I have heard countless stories of crafters coming under siege from fearsome orcs and other beasts, and I pray that Randgar remains yet safe. I care deeply for Randgar, but my father will not allow me to see him. He knows that Randgar is poor and believes he is unworthy of our concern. Please, visit his farm and ensure his safety. I love Randgar, but I would rather he flee to Edoras than come to harm for my sake. Well, that's very thoughtful of you. I'll make sure to pay a visit to him as soon as I can. Here we have Siflád.
I saw you coming to Cliving from afar, and I wondered what your story might be.
Now you have come to tell it to me. How wonderful! You tell Siflád that you have come from her mother in Elthengels, and that Mildrith worries about her. My poor mother. I miss her. Some days I miss her terribly, but knowing that she is still at home eases the ache somewhat. Worse are the days when I miss my father and my brother, for they are never coming home. But I am as happy at Cliving as I can be. The Reeve is kind to me, if distant. I think he blames himself for all the grief my family has endured, and wants to make amends for it. I am treated well. Look at the view from the walls. There is just so much more going on here than at Elthengels. Yes, I am happy here. I hope my mother is not upset by that, but it is the truth. But tell her I miss her. Well, you do have an amazing view of the plains of Rohan. Ah, the sunset here looks so beautiful. I'm glad to see you're doing alright, Siflád, and I'll tell your mother about it next time I see her.
I do not believe you will find welcome here.
You suspect me of these rumored crimes? How shameful. Not that I am a respected elder in this community. I was visiting Mildrith for treatment to the terrible nightmares I began having shortly after my son and his family lost their lives. His croft was raided and burned in the first orc assault, and still Athelward has refused to defend those helpless families outside the city walls. It is true, I harbor no love for the Reeve after such a heartless decision, yet I would not resort to poisoning him. Consider for a moment how a citizen such as myself would have access to the Reeve's kitchen. Surely someone would have noticed my unexpected presence there. Okay. That does make sense. This is Eldora's house, maybe? Yeah.
What business have you with the Rohirrim?
I know that you're investigating the poison found in the kitchen and the murder of Mildrith. Yes, I have heard the rumors. I must explain my actions so that you understand why I am innocent in these matters. I have been taking care of the injured man you see before us, Beriathan. He was wounded in battle and is greatly impaired. I care greatly for Beriathan, though he knows it not, and I have been overseeing his aid through medical herbs that Mildrith has provided for us. I have been here frequently tending to him, thus my absence from the kitchen. It is true that no one can account for my whereabouts when the crimes were committed, but know that I have no more reason to harm Athelward than any else in town. Furthermore, Mildrith was helping me to treat Beriathan, and I would never have wished harm to come upon him. Okay. Need to keep investigating this. But for the time being, well, this is the west entrance of Cliving, but for the time being we need to look for Cuthred and help him on the Reeve's behalf. But we also need to find his Twithorn, and he is near the Meat Hall. So let us see what else we'll need to do. Now, there is something else. Now that I'm right here. Let me reforge these weapons.
Welcome. Well met, my friend.
Shorty of death. Damage over time. Wages of fear. Let's pick any, really. Now, what we need to do is
My friend.
deconstruct some of the items that we are no longer using. Which can be this spear. And this club. Yeah. Okay. Now we can
Greetings.
identify this javelin that I got from the skirmish camp. Shield gambit like healing, gambit power cost, gambit damage. Looks nice. And it's gonna be really useful. So in here we have... Yeah, our DPS will increase dramatically, which I think will help us in mounted combat and other endeavors. But we will lose the legacies for, well, Fist Gambit critical rating is the one that worries me the most. But now that we're here, you know what? Maybe we can use some of these runes that we got. Just to have this go to level 30 and unlock all of our legacies for this.
Welcome, my friend.
Javelin of Deadly Force. Come on. Careful step duration. No. Give me a good legacy. Defiant challenge damage return. Yeah. Because this means that I can Apply my settings and my gems to this. Of morale, dexterity. Well, let us use this one. And with this, we can also equip the javelin. I don't see it in my bag. Ah, okay. They're here. We can equip this and we can deconstruct this one instead. But I don't think we can use that legacy. Oh, yeah, we can. Awesome. We can use this legacy here, replace this critical rating for the power cost. I don't think it's that necessary. Okay, so next time we go fighting on horseback, we should see an increase on our DPS while using Radar Mark. And as soon as we hit level 80 and unlock our last gambit, that should also be helpful. So that reminds me, I'm actually gonna unequip the Stone of the Tortoise. Who do we have in here? Oh, this is Cuthred. Alright.
The Reeve sent you to me to help with our problems? Good.
We can't refuse no offers of help. Cliving has been less affected than some other towns in this riding, but still there are orcs about and we need to deal with them if we are to keep our people safe.
An important part of guard duty involves riding the bounds.
An important part of the guard duty my men undertake consists of riding the bounds of Cliving, looking for threats lurking too near the city. If you have a war steed and the skill to ride it, I would encourage you to help us with this duty, Beriathan. Ride east of Cliving until you see the marker that delineates the bound, and then turn to the south. Continue this process turning to your right at each marker until you have described a great loop around the city. Defeat any mounted enemies you encounter in the circuit, Beriathan. You will be doing the people of Cliving a great service. Okay. What else? We are looking for Sweetthorn. Let's hear what he has to say before we make our choice here.
What business have you with the Rohirrim?
Captain Theodmar told me of the circumstances involving Mildrith and my dagger. I understand your reason to suspect me, but I can assure you that I had nothing to do with his murder. My weapon was likely taken from me in order to draw suspicion towards me and away from the real killer. On the night that Mildrith's life was taken, I was patrolling the city perimeter with other guards. Had I left to visit his home, my absence would have been very strongly noticed. I have been grieving the loss of my brother, yet as I have explained to Theodmar, I do not blame the Reeve for his death. I respect Athelward greatly, and I understand his decision must have been a difficult one. I am an honorable man, and these despicable crimes are below me. Okay. Alright, this is a tricky one. In the meantime, what can we do here with our javelin? We can... Let us increase this a defiant challenge. And the DPS. Yeah, I think we can do that.
Our mission is dire.
Each suspect has given a different reason why he or she should be absolved. Sweetthorn claims to have witnesses for when Mildrith was slain. Eldora seems to be lacking a motive to harm either victim, and Wigfugul would like us to consider his lack of access to the restricted kitchen. The time draws near. Consider each testimony and all of the evidence discovered. Action must be taken before others come to harm. We must apprehend a guilty party. So here we have three different options. We can go for either Eldora Sweetborn of Wigfugol.
Will you
Only one suspect can be apprehended for these crimes. Accepting and completing this quest will not allow you to apprehend Sweetborn or Wigfugol. And the question now is, who is the real culprit? So, to recap, Wigfugol doesn't have access to the kitchen, but he does have a grief against the Reeve. Eldora has access to the kitchen, and he doesn't have a motive because of her lover. And Sweetborn has witnesses. Oh. And this is a hard one. Who do I want to apprehend? I don't think Eldora is the real... I mean, let's go for the facts. In order to access the kitchen, you need to be either a worker at the kitchen or you need to be someone they trust, someone special, like one of the guards. So that rules out Wigfugol. Now, Eldora has no real reason to kill Mildrith. She needed him to save that life. And that leaves us to Sweetborn. So, how was he able to sneak past his companions? It's unclear, but his dagger was found at the scene of the crime, so I think I'm gonna go with him.
The Rohirrim have need of your services.
So, you believe Sweetborn to be the culprit? There is good reason to suspect him. Being one of Theodmar's riders, he would have had access to the kitchen without arising suspicion. His brother's death can be directly attributed to Athelward's orders to withdraw from Elthengils, and perhaps this motive has fueled his attempt to poison the Reeve. I trust your decision in this matter. I shall go to apprehend Sweetborn now. Meet us at the entrance to the dungeon under the meat hole. That's the one, but let me show you what's the reasoning behind the other two.
Our success depends upon...
So, you believe Eldora to be the culprit?
Lead us.
It is a shame to think that such a sweet girl could be responsible, but I understand your concerns. There were no witnesses to her whereabouts at the time of Mildrith's murder, and she had direct access to the kitchen where the poison phial was discovered. I trust your decision on this matter. I shall go now to apprehend Eldora. Let us reconvene inside the dungeon's entrance under the meat hole.
The Rohirrim have need of your services.
So you believe Wigfugol to be the culprit? Yes, it cannot be understated that his grudge against Athelward gives him the strongest motive. Living alone at his estate, he has no witnesses for his whereabouts during these crimes. It takes little imagination to see how Wigfugol was the one responsible for this atrocity. I trust your decision in this matter. I shall go now to apprehend Wigfugol and take him to the cell in the dungeon. Meet me inside the dungeon under the meat hole. Is there a way in which Wigfugol could have had access to the kitchens? Maybe he had an accomplice, but if we are taking accomplices into consideration, we are back to square one. So I think we will still go with Sweetborn.
Our success depends upon our strength. Will you
So,
lead us?
we'll need to go to the dungeons right next to the meat hole and see to the end of our investigation. But once again, just take a look at this. Cliving at night, it's also really beautiful because the reflections of the water upon the stones does really adds a lot to the atmosphere. I do enjoy this a lot. Man, I love this town. I love it so much that I even made my other warden, who is a man from Rohan, have ancestors from Cliving. That's how much I like it.
Will you aid the horse lords?
I am not the one that should be held behind these bars, Beriathan. It was a costly mistake to allow my dagger to slip from my possession, but never would I use it against any of the people in Cliving, the very people I have sworn to protect. I ask that you remember all that has transpired, and all that has been revealed in your search for the truth. I will wager that the criminal will act again in time, and that justice will be upheld.
Our mission is dire.
Sweetborn came peacefully with me when I explained things to him. We will hold Sweetthorn here as we gather more evidence, or until we receive his confession. I believe you have made a wise decision, Beriathan. Sweetthorn's motive and access to the kitchens make him a logical choice. No further harm shall come to the people of Cliving at his hand.
Our success depends upon our strength.
I hope we're right.
Aid us?
You have been a tremendous help, both to me and to the people of Cliving. We all owe you a debt of gratitude for your fine service. Reeve Athelward has sent word that he would personally like to thank you for your assistance in these matters. Go with haste. The Reeve's time is precious, and it is rare for him to pay heed to visitors of your stature. Thank you, I guess. Let us go and talk to him then. So we're back, Reeve. We talked to Siflád, we are helping your man, and we finished our investigation. What do you have to say? Beriathan? You must be the wise man I have heard so much about. I simply must thank you. I could not be more pleased with the results of the investigation. To think that a coward would threaten my life with poisons rather than face me with their grievances in person. It sickens me. We must put these matters behind us, for further toil will yet lies ahead for me and my people. Receive this reward and please consider helping us further. Agility, vitality, power regen, physical mastery, that looks nice. Looks really nice.
I need you to do this.
You have already proven yourself capable of managing important and challenging tasks, so it is with confidence that I entrust you with an errand of utmost significance. My primary thought is always to keep safe the people of the Norcrofts, yet I simply have not the riders at my disposal to scour each corner and crevice of my land for the threat of these invading armies. I have given orders for my people to retreat into Cliving or to flee south to Edoras. Those within the city walls will be protected. Many of the crofters have either not received the call for evacuation or failed to realize the seriousness of the matter. Please write to them now and make certain that they understand the dangers of remaining at their crofts. Oh, you have something more for me? Sorry.
I need your help.
We must give warning to travelers that the Norcrofts is no longer safe. I have asked for warning marks to be created so that they may be used to direct visitors west towards Edoras. I would ask that you display these warnings on posts along the roads so as to keep others from wandering into dangerous territory. Ride along the roads south and east of Cliving, and display the warning markers upon any posts you encounter.
I need you to do this.
My riders have spoken with me about a section of the Norcrofts between Cliving and Elthangles that they have branded the Red Fields for the blood-stained grasses that have become an all-too-common sight there. These plains are so dangerous due to the ever-present threat of mounted orc archers. Even the most seasoned rider can be struck with an unlucky or unexpected arrow and become mortally wounded. Clear as many of the mounted orc archers from this land as you can, and I will ensure that you are rewarded for your endeavors. Alrighty. So let us go there then. Ah, we have this title as well, Detective. For helping Walnoth solve the crimes of Cliving, you have earned the reputation of a practiced investigator. But I don't feel like much of a detective myself, so I'm gonna keep the one that I have. And here we finally have the Riders for. You remember these guys from Harwick? They are bringing the word of the Easterling attack. So, what's up?
Our success depends upon our strength.
Beriathan, we meet again! We have been here for a few days, but have been unable to speak with Reeve Athelward. He has not refused to see us as Aldor Harding, but has passed not by the excuses to his doorward. Perhaps you will once again speak on our behalf. An impending invasion by a horde of Kundalar Easterlings is not a matter to be taken lightly. If you could, either convince Athelward to speak with us directly, or relate our tale to him as best you may. Okay. Yeah, let us do this before leaving town. Back to the Reeve.
Thank you for your help.
Greetings. Have you found your stay in Cliving a pleasant one, or at least eventful? Yes, I know of the riders of whom you speak. They are retainers of Lord Eomer. Had I known sooner, I would have greeted them with a warmer welcome. Let a feast be prepared and let them come to my hall. I will give them a welcome they will not soon forget. So we have the answers you wanted. What now?
Done well.
A moment, Beriathan. I must apologize for my abruptness to you in Harwick. I told you of my shame, but I did not speak of my pride. When I first came to Aldburg, I fell in love with Fleda, niece of Garthorn. We were soon married, and she bore me 2 daughters, Siflád and Gwynedd. They have both grown into beautiful women, and they are my joy. Though Garthorn and the warriors of Aldburg forsook me, Fleda remained faithful. She is why I remained in Eomer's service. Alas, though Fleda and Siflád remain faithful to me, young Gwynedd is shamed by my dishonor. It is for her that I seek redemption. My pardon for the interruption, but I thought it important to share this with you.
What brings you to these lands?
You relate Athelward's words to Bernath, and he pauses in thought. In truth, I am troubled, Beriathan. You have said not to discourage me, but I find Athelward's response queer in these dark times. Does he truly seek to host a feast for a few ragged riders? Nay, this is trouble indeed. I must consider our best options.
Rohan have need of your services.
I cannot say why I am discomfited by the Reeve's demeanor, but his apparent lack of regard for impending invasion by the Condolar disturbs me. I think it best that we forgo Athelward's gracious invitation. I think it best that my companions and I leave as soon as possible, tonight preferably, and as secretly as possible. Will you aid us? Let us go, yeah. We are ready to leave when you are.
I know not why I am disturbed by Reeve Athelward's hospitality, but I sense that not all will be well for us if we remain. This night, we must leave Cliving like thieves, else danger takes us unaware.
Okay, so here we have the Riders 4 ready to depart Cliving.
Will you aid the horse lords?
Beriathan, if you could distract the guard across the way, we might be able to sneak out. Stay with us when we move, however, for we may need your assistance along the way. You informed the guard that you believe you saw riders approaching the city. I will go and look, for it is late and there should be no riders about. Okay, the guard is distracted right now. So, on your word, when are we leaving? Let us go. Let us be swift but silent. Swift but silent. So, like this, you mean? I don't think there is a tiptoe animation for me, but this is as slow and silent as I can be.
Aid the horse lords.
What is it? A kitchen coop? Aye, we should avoid it. If the hens are disturbed, the noise will alert the guards. Another guard! Perhaps you may find a way to distract this one as well. When the guard is distracted, we will continue. We have here a pile of rocks. We distracted the guard. Let us continue then. Here they come. Bernath, Leofdag, Hutha, and Ulf. And as you see here, something worth mentioning, we have learned a little bit more about Leofdak's history. And I think as we continue working with the riders, we'll get to learn more about the other ones too. We'll need to see.
Business have you with the road?
Do you see that stray hound ahead? Perhaps you can distract it with this jerky. Okay. The hound sniffs warily at the meat you proffer, then takes it and wanders away. Okay. Coast is clear. Jesus, you scared me with that music. Please don't do that again. There are 2 more guards ahead. 1 more distraction and we will make the stables. Yeah, please don't scare me like that again. If it's not too much trouble. But yeah, that was really unexpected. You say orcs are attacking? To the gate! We must defend Cliving! Alright guys, come on now. Do hurry, we don't have much time. Come on, come on. Alright, here we finally get the chance to see whose horse is which one. Leofdak is splitting, Ulf gets it, Bernard is Brynmouth, and Huthai is Havoc. Okay.
What business have you with the Rohirrim?
We will continue from here alone. By the time word comes to Athelward of our departure, we will be well away from here. Thank you for your aid, my friend. Tomorrow, you should return to Reeve Athelward and let him know that we are grateful for his invitation but most graciously decline. Okay, so let us, well, we'll go to the reef. We'll go back to the reef. But first, let us do all these things that we need to do on the outside of Cliving. So we need to talk to Randgar. Go right to the first marker. Convince crafters to evacuate. Post warnings. Defeat orc archers. Let us try and do that really quick. Is our new javelin making any difference? I wonder. Let us pick this. I think we'll be fighting more mounted enemies along the way. We have here our first farmer.
What brings you to these lands?
Reeve Athelward intends to leave us unprotected if we do not flee. I cannot fathom leaving my home abandoned, but I will do so if it means safety for my family. Thank you, stranger. We shall make for Cliving at once. Yeah, I understand leaving home is never easy, but you gotta get yourself to safety. Posted warnings along the road. I think there should be another farmer in here.
What brings you to these lands?
The orcs that have spread across the fields have made it far too dangerous to remain. I will heed your warning and leave these lands behind, yet I hope someday to return. We all do. But yeah, you really need to leave. You have discovered Randgar's farm. Okay.
What business have you with the Rohirrim?
My dear Inhild, she need not worry for me. Since I first gazed upon her in the market, I have been in love, and I will do anything to be near her. I refuse to leave for Edoras, for we may never meet again. I appreciate your concerns, but I will not leave without seeing Inhild.
Will you aid the Rohirrim?
I must endure the orcs until I am able to prove to Inhild's father, Whitmon, that I am worthy of his daughter. The fence gates around my farm need to be secured. Upon each of my attempts to leave my farm, the orcs have harassed me and tried to write me down. Please, help me secure the fence, but remain vigilant of the orc riders and their torment. Okay. This is one of the gates. The farm gate has been secured. But someone is coming for me. Oh, come on. Yeah, we'll need to fight these guys. Okay, I defeated one of them. Cool. And you come here. That was it? Really? Okay. Back to Randgar.
What business have you with the Rohirrim?
I am glad to see that you have dealt with those merciless brutes. I am fortunate to have someone with such skill in my company. Let us hope that the orcs decide to relent their constant harassment now that they have seen our ability to defend against them.
Our success depends upon our strength.
Your dispatch of those orc ruffians has given me a rather clever idea. With your assistance, I have thought of a way to gain the respect of Inhild's father. There is a notorious orc thief that I have witnessed looting various trinkets and valuables from the abandoned farmsteads surrounding my home. His fondness for treasure will be his downfall. Track down this Uruk and separate him from his ill-gotten gains. With those valuables in my possession, I might yet impress old Whitmon and be allowed to court his daughter. Here we also have one of the other posts. The post in here, the warning, but this was also the first marker for the epic. No. Worsted. And yes, for the record, I still have not come up with a name for my worsted. Urukai Looter. There he is. Okay, we defeated him, but he had no valuables. So I don't think Randgar is gonna like this. Here we also have more farmers that we need to evacuate.
What brings you to these lands?
Thank you for the warning. It seems to me now that these lands are fit for naught but war. I will make haste for Edoras in the hopes that Paladin King will still hold against our foes. Well, I hope you're right. And I hope you reach Edoras safe. Randgar is nowhere to be seen. Signs of struggle are visible here. What happened? You have his spear and his cloak. Randgar's cloak has been torn and is stained with blood. We'll need to bring this to Inhild and Cliving. Oh, okay. This is... The next marker is to the west. Yeah. Come on! What do I need to do for you to die? Oh, for God's sake, die, please. Would you die, please? Okay, we have completed the vengeance for Elthengels. Worsted level 25. Cool. We need to find more archers somewhere around here. Here we have a guy. Oh, come on. Yeah, that's right. Show him who's boss. Okay, there is another post near here that we can go to as we look for the archers. Ah, yeah. This one over here. Okay. Another archer. Come on, hit it. We could dismount this guy, that would be really helpful. Finally. Thank you. We need one more archer, just one more. Ah, there he is. Oh, we dismounted him. We got the power restore. All great. Awesome. Now with this, we can continue our patrol around all this area.
What business have you with the Rohirrim?
I cannot understand why Athelward refuses to send his riders to help defend our homes. But he has always done what is best for his people, and I will adhere to his decree for evacuations. Blessings to you, messenger. Alright. So I think this would be the second marker. Oh, this is a wood post. Now what else we need to do? The evacuation. There is another farmer in here. That's right. I shall miss my home dearly, but I will not disobey a command from our noble Reeve. Athelward is a wise ruler, and if he requires us to take shelter within the city, then that is the course of action I will take. Pardon me, for I must begin preparations to set forth. Well, that's it for the farmers. We can finish the circuit around Cliving. I think these banners will have a quest for us at some point, but not yet. The last marker is to the north of this one. And yes, this will take us to Cliving's west entrance, which we have already seen. The thriving horde. Oh, come on. Let us get the quest, but we will leave the completion of it for another episode. Oh, come on. Many of the orcs that march with the main horde moving across Rohan have fallen behind to continue occupying and terrorizing the peoples of the Norcrofts and to spread the influence of the White Hand. Defeating the White Hand's riders will help reduce their stranglehold on the territory. And yes, we will do that, but not yet. I'm gonna write to this marker really quick. An unpleasant host? What now? You have ridden the bounds and should return to Cuthred. White Hand orcs have taken to occupying and desecrating the once peaceful farmsteads of the noble crofters of Cliving. The strongest among the orc infantry have taken to claiming each structure as their own personal habitat. Okay, I think that contextual toolbar that we saw was for some of the dailies that we don't have yet. That's what I remember, but not sure. In any case, we're gonna try Daham up because we are really close to him right now, and this should be really the last part of this episode. Let us just try our luck against him and see how we do. The Warband leader Dahamap and his minions have been terrorizing the people of the Norcrofts and must be dealt with. Yep. You see, and that's Rithermark for ya. Now, that was Rohirrim actually. That was the Rohirrim strategy that I always tell you about. You wear them down. You wear them down with Rohirrim, and then you switch to Rithermark and hope that your power restorers will do the work for you. As Rohirrim does consume a lot of power. Ah, and there you see, we got the power restore that we needed, so it was all good. We even dismounted him, so now we need to keep really close to him so that he doesn't reset. You have defeated Dahamap. That's what I'm talking about. Dahamap's defeat has reduced the danger to the people of the Norcrofts and to all who visit the farms south of Cliving. Awesome. We got this blue box of Norcroft spoils, And for the record, I did forget to open the box that we got from Skutok, but that yielded this fall down pennant that, I don't know, would like to keep. And now this one will have for us a fall down banner. Discover the Western Cliving Watchtower. It seems we still have some things to do in here, but I think that will be a matter for next episode. So join me next time. We'll continue helping the guards of Cliving and go back to the Reeve with all the news of what we have done today. For the time being, thank you so much for watching today's episode of Citadel Guard Adventures. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you on the next one. Until then, my friends, stay safe, take care, good luck to you all, and I will see you later. And Garlic is saying bye-bye, so we'll see you another time.